Alrighty, let's hop on in here and welcome, howdy y'all. Welcome to a new era of video game. This is a very, very exciting time. So this might be a little bit of a shorter stream. We'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, the new internet is officially here. Yay! So we have moved over to a fiber. That is like, I'm way down there. It's okay. But yeah, we have moved over to fiber and officially have 1 gig up and down. I did a little bit, move on over here. There you go. Did a little bit this morning to kind of test it out before I ran off to work. Everything seems to be going good. There were a couple of hiccups apparently in the household while I was gone, so we're just it's kind of touch and go. It could have been because I was downloading a couple new games, but I don't think that should have affected anything. Like my power line adapter, I mean, it's still kind of throttling everything. I still can't get like the full scale of our fiber internet. But the most important thing for you guys here on the stream is the upload. I went from 9 gigabyte upload on my devices up to like 60. So huge difference. And of course, everyone else in the household is also getting that at the same time, which means, you know, less interruptions throughout the house and just having a good time all around. So yeah, I'm here for it and we are ready. Now, I don't know if the stream quality is going to be any better or not. We'll just have to kind of play that by ear. I tried testing a little bit earlier with Horizon Zero Dawn on some private streams. It seems like there's still a lot of interlacing and whatnot going on. At this point, it's definitely not the internet. It's got to be something in my Streamlabs settings. Whenever there's a lot of motion on, just how it processes stuff. And I'll play around a little bit with that, but you should notice at least a little bit of a smoother gameplay, little bit less interlacing, that kind of thing, throughout most of my streams. So I am very excited about it. Most importantly is that, you know, I don't have to like interrupt any of the other members of the household. Like if my brother's trying to stream and play along at the same time, that kind of stuff. Everyone's capable of doing that now without interruption. So, you know, I'm very excited about being able to do all of that. Now, as far as what we're doing today, I've mentioned before that yes, I am still very much playing Elite Dangerous, still having a great time with it, but I've been doing a lot of Spec Ops and stuff, BGS stuff, that I can't really stream. You know, they're secret froggy ops, you know, out and about. But with Oya being under attack now, we'll see how this goes. I am not going to be attacking Oya directly for quite some time. You know, I'd like the free arcs from each heart, but like it's not super important to me. I will probably hop in there once it gets at least about halfway through, and we'll just kind of see how it goes from there. Everything else that I have been doing has been like evacs and that kind of thing. There are a couple of populated systems here with alerts and everything. So, yeah, I've been trying to do my best. Now, most of these others that have alerts right now, they are unpopulated systems. So the only option there, if you want to help clear them out, is to actually go and kill some Orthuses and stuff. But the populated systems with stations, you can pretty much do all of it, which is really, really good money. And I figure it's chill enough to kind of test out how things are going. And kind of go from there with this. So, like I said, we'll do this for a little bit, see how it goes, and you know, test out the new internet. You know, it's been very interesting. I've been trying to keep up with everything going on with OEM. You know, we got it down below pin-controlled systems, and then surprise, surprise, today they're like, oh, 30 systems are actually under alert. So you've got this to worry about. You got to take it down this week, or you're gonna have trouble next week when all of these go into invasion mode, right? And you know, it's very interesting because I've been trying to pay attention a little bit to, you know, some of the comments and everything going around, like in our Discord and whatnot, and it's just like, I don't know, like I don't mind it. I really don't. If anything, it's giving players who don't want to attack Oya or are not equipped to attack Oya other things to do to make some money and participate in the Thargoid content. And yeah, you know, the past couple of Titans, or at least Legong, there was like that about a week window between when we cleared out the invaded systems and when we actually started attacking Legong, and there just really wasn't a whole lot to do if you were not set up to actually attack Thargoids, right? So for me, as someone that runs Evacs, like I was just kind of twiddling my thumbs running regular old trade routes most of that week. I wasn't participating at all until the actual attack began. Now this gives us a few options on different things that players can do, make some money, you know, get some kind of profit, or yeah, just essentially get something out of this, right? Out of the Thargoid content without necessarily having to attack the Titan itself. If you're just not ready for that kind of thing. I am kind of curious. It did not look like Oya had that much taken out today. I'm very curious if the AXI team is going to be able to actually get through 7 controlled systems worth of defense to actually take down Oya. We'll see. But what's really just kind of amazed me about it is just how cynical and negative everyone is about the fact that the alerted systems went up. Like, I don't know, I just see a whole lot of comments like, oh, FDev thinks we're going too fast, so they got handed all of this to make us go a little bit slower, and, you know, they never expected us to be this fast and stuff, and it's just like, guys, play another MMO for the love of God. Like, this is, at least as an outsider, as a fairly new player, this really is not all that much different than any other time-gated story content in literally any other MMO. If anything, it's probably easier and tamer than most of the other time-gated content that I played in like WoW or FF14. Like, were you guys here for the Firmament? We did this shit with cooking in FF14, right? Like, it's just kind of wild how negative everyone is reacting to the alerted systems, and that I guess FDev thinks that we're going too fast. Like, I don't think that is the case at all. Like, I think it just automatically was built into the game and unlocked once it went below 10 controlled systems. Like, that's how time-gated content works. And I'm sure as we move on to the other Titans, there's going to be other things to pop up, whether it's the Python Mark II or more pushback from the Thargoids or something, I don't know. But like, this is pretty standard time-gated content, guys. Like, it's probably not, you know, FDev God handing it. I mean, it could be. Like, I don't know enough about FDev to be able to be like yes or no, but I don't know. People just seem so negative and cynical about them, and they're like, they're really kind of tame compared to most of the other MMO companies I've dealt with over the past 2 decades of playing video games, right? So, if anything, it seems like they're really kind of trying to draw focus to Oya. Like, in my opinion, it seems like they're doing a pretty good job of trying to manage this very big scale event while being very aware of how few people are actually playing this game, right? So it becomes an issue where like they want to do these cool events for the player base that's here, but if they are not careful, they'll end up pulling focus, right? Like I saw some people memeing over the last community goal and how few people were actually taking part. Like it was basically impossible to actually complete. They wanted us to go to the ruins of Titan Tyrannus, right? Like it's open and clear. You can pick up some materials and stuff over there. And they wanted us to pick up a drive sample and deliver those, right? They wanted 1 million drive samples, but there was nothing that you got for completing it. Like there was no completion goal. It's basically you turn in one and you get the rewards. In fact, I think I still have the quest here. Yeah, right? So I saw some people memeing on it like, oh yeah, they definitely overset expectations and, you know, don't understand their player base and stuff. And I was just sitting there thinking like, no, not really. Like they know that if they had a community goal that actually required finishing the goal for rewards, right? Then that would completely split the player base between those actually trying to fight Oya and those that want to finish the community goal. Like, guys, if you took every player that is playing this game right now, like basically the max player base of Elite Dangerous, it would not even be 1/10 of my server on Final Fantasy XIV. Like there's maybe 10,000 people that still play this game versus 100,000, 150,000 on just one FF14 server. Like that's about the estimate that we have on Balmung right now as one of the larger servers. So like they seem very aware of how small the game is compared to others out there. And they're just trying to do their best to kind of manage what people are doing and keep people focused. We'll just have to see what happens with the alert systems. I really don't think it was them thinking we're going too fast. Like, I don't think they're really concerned about that. They'll release content when they're ready to release the content. Me, it was just a story thing that finally unlocked at a certain point because we hit a benchmark that was, you know, gated behind some checkpoints, like any other time gated content. So, you know, we'll have to see how it goes. Me personally, I mean, now that I can get in here and do stuff like this gives me something to do while the AXI team is out there, you know, killing Thargoids and actually attacking Oya's core, which, you know, I'll do that eventually. Like I said, I'm not going to skip out on it. I still want my rewards, right? But, you know, I'm not going to do it every single heart. It's kind of a pain to get there. Hate getting interdicted every 2 seconds. And, you know, I'm just in my little courier. Like, I'm not going to be, you know, accomplishing all that much towards the fight. It's basically get in, get my arcs, do a few runs, and hopefully it'll all add up to over 2 million within that final 7 days. And that's the other thing, is I gotta try and make sure that I'm getting in the final 7 days with how little damage my courier does to that thing. There's only so much I can do, right? And like, yeah, I know people are like, yeah, you just get a chieftain and get a crate. They're the most efficient. I'm like, I hate the look of those things. I'm not doing that. No, I think they're goofy looking, and that's really all the reason I need. Plus I've got to like engineer some of the stuff and get it cool running. I'm running kind of low on engineering. You know, I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I ended up buying the Python. I'm just like, okay, I want to buy a ship. And I need something for mining, because every time I switch over my cutter to mining, it's just kind of a pain. I have to switch over like every module on that thing to get it rigged up for mining. I'm like, I'll just buy a dedicated mining ship. And I didn't want to buy another cutter just because I am saving up for the FC, right? So the Python was like cheap enough. I've heard it, I have heard it was a good mining ship. It doesn't have nearly the capacity that the cutter does, but Yeah, I'm just mining. It's more for the materials than it is for the actual ore, so I'm not super concerned about cargo. And you know, it's been all right. It's fine to fly. I still think it looks like a giant lump of poo, but you know, I'm not looking outside the ship most of the time, I guess. But that's what I've been doing. Is I've spent the past couple of days just mining, just trying to get some of my materials up and running. It really wouldn't be so bad, except like I am trying to engineer several different ships for several different aspects of the game right now. So it can get a little tricky. The nice thing with these passenger missions is, aside from the money, you know, once you get your rep up and hit those really high dollar ones, it's also a really good way to get some grade 5 mats. You know, you do have to choose sometimes whether you want the money or the mats, but you know, I'll do about half and half. So I'm sitting on a fair amount of exquisite focus crystals right now, and firmware and all kinds of stuff like that. So you know, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. It just kind of sucks that none of these missions really give you raw materials. Like maybe some of the trade missions do, but that's not really what I'm here doing the evacs for, right? It would be nice to see them add raw materials as more of an option for some of the rewards on some of this stuff. You know, I was looking a little bit earlier after about the Python, like where can I get most materials? And I saw that there was like a crashed Anaconda site, but apparently it's been nerfed or something like that. So like the new meta are some crystal sites or something like that that are like 1,000 light years away or something. So it's been a struggle. You know, most of the asteroids only give you grades 1 through 3. Occasionally, if you're really lucky, you'll find a grade 4 or 5, but it's pretty rare. I think I've only found like one Ruthium or something like that in all of the time that I've spent scanning these asteroids. And I'm in a good system for it, where every planet is a pristine ring planet, and there's like 5 of them, right? So, you know, I'm making do with what I can, but I figure, you know, I can trade up and all of that. It just takes a lot for some of those high grade mats. And it really wasn't a problem until I started working on my working on the Ozark, my Corvette. Because once you start wanting to get some of those grade 5 engineering modules up and running, especially some of the weapons, like they do require a fair amount of grade 4/grade 5 materials. Like I need like selenium and a couple of other things that are kind of a pain to get. So yeah, I mean, I'll do a little bit more research and see if I have other options. As far as I can tell, that crashed Anaconda that everyone knew about is not as big as it used to be. But again, I don't know entirely about it. So you know, we're just doing what we can with what we're doing. Let's see. I'm sorry. I guess the settings on this one, like I don't want you guys to have ads like too often, so I'm adjusting the ads. Which, speaking of, yes, this is a YouTube partner channel, so if you want to help me maintain that status, help me, you know, afford food, by all means, like and subscribe. We are on the push for 1,500 subs and beyond this year, so every little bit counts. If you want to see me play in some Elite Dangerous, some FF14, whatever weird games that I feel like playing, a lot of guitar streams, well, I wouldn't say a lot, maybe about once a month. I've had one on the list for like 3 weeks now. Yeah, how's that going for my regular viewers? I'm sorry. We'll do it eventually. But yeah, you know, it's standard VTube content, I guess. But yeah, like and subscribe. Every little bit counts. Super chats are welcome. You know, they're not required by any means, but every little bit does help me, and goes back largely into the channel or my stomach, so please keep me from going hungry. I don't have a whole lot that I can lose. So yeah, we're just chilling, you know. Now, the downside with these not being stations under attack is that since I am working apparently for the mob, it's one of these factions, if you are scanned leaving the station with, you know, illegal passengers, they will still shoot you. With actual invaded systems where the stations are actually under attack, they won't attack you no matter the passengers. They're too busy worried about the Cyclopses and stuff that are flying around. But here they will. They will absolutely try shooting you down. Thankfully, I think my rep is high enough at this point that they don't scan me all that often. And my ship is pretty fast. Like I can outrun a Cyclops in this thing. Scythe's a little bit different story, but you know, I hit over 500 and it still runs fairly cool. But yeah, you know, it's just another thing to prepare for. They will probably get a few hits off of you, so just kind of be aware if that is going to be a route that you go with. But beyond that, as you can see, I mean, each of those missions was like 1.5 million plus, most of them like 2 million at least. I'm still trying to get the rep up for the really high dollar missions. You know, as you've seen in my past streams, once you get your rep up, some of those VIPs, like they'll pay 35 to 50 million to escape this rock. Like it's a ton of money, but you do have to get your rep up, and it is a little bit slower in an alert system compared to an actual invaded system from what I have been able to see. People aren't as desperate. Some of the VIPs are still worried about cabin class, which you get that in invaded systems and stuff too, but it tends to be a little bit more of an issue here. So, you know, you gotta make do with what you can, but for me, I am taking a lot of the money instead of taking the rep reward that is an option. So it is going a little bit slower than normal, right? Man, I'm so close to that FC. I'm about halfway to where I want to be for my FC. Like I figured 7 billion is probably a good number that I can get my FC, get it fitted with everything that I want it fitted with, and keep it running for at least a year. And the thing is, like, I'm not really the type of person that will just completely quit a game. Like, I even still pop into Black Desert online every now and then. Like, once or twice a year, I get that itch, right? So, you know, the FC can also turn around and get me more money in the future. They're doing a scan, huh? See if they can catch me, first of all. There we go. Yeah, they couldn't even catch me. That's good. We're safe. We're safe. All right. So yeah, that FC will turn around and make me even more money, since, you know, most of what I do is trading in the game while I'm in the bubble. Eventually we'll hop out on that FC and go like way out there into the black. That's the main reason I want it. And that alone is also going to make a lot of money with how much I explore. So, you know, it'll become kind of a self-sustaining thing after a while. But yeah, you know, I want the universal cartographics. I probably want a shipyard, obviously, so I can bring all of my ships along. Make sure that it's a way station for anyone else that's out there. You know, I don't know. I don't think we necessarily need a redemption office out in the black. That's not a big deal. But obviously, refuel, repair, those are kind of important. If I'm going to have like a mini DSSA carrier. Like, I'm probably not going to join the actual DSSA, but that's kind of the purpose it will serve. So I want to make sure that it's up and running for all of that. So no, you're looking at another 2 to 3 billion on top of the initial cost of buying the FC to outfit all of that stuff and also make sure that it is actually going to stay out there for a good while. Maybe a little bit there so I can buy tritium from other players, since I doubt that's something that I'm necessarily going to be super excited to buy on my own, right? I don't know what the cap is on it, but I'm gonna load it with as much as I can before we head out. But yeah, you know, this is a good way to do it. I have a lot of fun with these evac missions. They're super easy. It's probably not as good of money as like Spire sites, but I've never done a Spire site. They seem, from what I've watched on other streams, they seem like they're a little bit more time intensive, like they take a little bit longer. I don't know if the payout is proportional compared to the passenger missions, but you know, the only thing that I can really say is that I'm fine with where this is. I don't necessarily need more money. Like, I'm never gonna say no to it. But like, I'm not like disappointed or upset about the amount of credits that I'm making doing this. Right? And that's really what's important. If you feel like you're not doing it fast enough, if you're not making as much as you should, then yeah, you might want to try doing some Orthus, some Spire sites, get some Orthus samples, that kind of thing. But you know, if you're having fun with whatever you're doing and you're comfortable with what you're making, like, you don't necessarily need to feel pressured to try and do what everyone says is like the meta, right? I mean, come on, I'm attacking Oya in a courier here in a couple days, so you know, you can kind of play whatever you want to play. And yeah, here we go. Like I said, I mean, I don't think anyone is going to say like, no, don't do evacs. Like, I feel like most of the players that are doing a lot of AX stuff like this, like, I feel like most people kind of understand that the evacs on these alerted and invaded systems, like, yeah, they're kind of baller. They are kind of hefty payouts. Like, maybe it's not the most efficient, but I don't think anyone's going to like complain about them either. For how easy they are, like, you really don't have to do anything. You just gotta load up a bunch of economy passenger cabins. Do a little bit of engineering so you run cool if you're gonna be going into, you know, hot systems with actual attacks going on, but that's really about it. Like, everything about this is base level. Like, I don't need Guardian weapons or anything like that. And you need an ECM. That's really about it. So, yeah. Yeah. Aside from that, you know, it seems like everything's holding steady. I mean, you know, I was streaming at 8K, and I bumped it up to 12K. I could probably theoretically go even higher. The only thing is, like, I don't know what YouTube caps it at. I was talking to my brother about this earlier because he was having some issues with Twitch dropping bitrate and stuff earlier, and I was just trying to tell him, like, man, that's just Twitch. Like, YouTube and Twitch both have caps on what your max upload will be. If you go above that, they automatically downscale it for their server loads. You know, it's a little different once, you know, if you're on Twitch, if you're an actual Twitch partner. You know, if you're making these companies a lot of money, then yeah, they bend over backwards for you. But if you're just like me, just some small little VTuber, yeah, you got to worry about those things. So, you know, I don't know if going up to 15K is really gonna make all that much of a difference. Like, the majority of the games that I play, I feel like it's not really too much of an issue. It really only comes to the really high fidelity games. Forza Horizon's a good example. Horizon Zero Dawn that I mentioned a little bit earlier. No Man's Sky, for some reason, whenever you're doing warps, you know, some of those, they do have a lot of issues when there's a lot of motion going on. Even FF14, come to think of it, when I'm doing like raids and there's a lot of movement and I'm swinging my camera around all over the place, like, I do notice that there's a lot of interlacing on that. So, you know, I don't know how much more I would really need to bump it up to help with that before I hit the YouTube cap. And I also don't know how much of it might just be my settings. I don't really know how much better I can try making it on my end. But, you know, so that could be some of it as well. I think I've got psycho-visual tuning on. I don't know if that helps or hurts. My keyframes are at 2. You know, basically all of the suggested stuff, right? But I could always try playing around with it a little bit and see if I can make it a little bit smoother. How many did we end up getting? 8? Yeah. I have noticed in alert systems, like, I'm not getting as much out of my ticks, right? Like, my passenger missions are not really contributing all that much. I assume right now, with everyone fighting Oya, I'm probably one of the only people actually doing like some of the alert system stuff. And I'm basically doing it solely because it makes me a lot of money and gets me a lot of mats. I'll move on to Oya eventually. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't really know how much more I could do to try and increase the quality more than it already is. You know, we can try 15K, but I feel like 12K is already more than enough for most of what we play. So, you know, the most important thing for me is just making sure that I'm not getting like a ton of dropped frames and stuff. Like that to me is probably the most important. I want to make sure that that is staying stable, because that was really the big issue. It used to be that like if my brother and I were streaming at the same time, you know, it was just dropped frames all over the place because, you know, we were trying to, our PCs were trying to fight for connection in the router. And yeah, that has not happened at all. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Like fiber is a game changer, and it was also cheaper by quite a bit compared to what we were paying for like 1/10 of the speeds, right? That is the one nice thing about living here. Like as much as I meme on how much it sucks living in the rural Midwest, we are right on the main line through the central US, the north-south line. So yeah, we get some pretty good internet because we're on the main pipeline between Chicago and Dallas. So that's real nice. All right, back to it. So yeah, we'll just have to play around a little bit, but at least at the very least, I know that this works. You know, most everything else at this point is just kind of trying to see how much my power line adapter can take, more than anything else. It's probably not very much, to be honest. All right. But yeah, I hope everyone had a good week. You know, it is almost the weekend. Happy Friday, East Coast. I hope you guys have a good weekend. It's starting to get kind of cold here again. Like I've been freezing in my room. My space heater. Once again, please like and subscribe to escape me from the hell that is my life, right? My space heater went out. It still heats up, but the fan doesn't work, so it overheats and shuts down. Which I'm glad that it has an automatic shutdown feature. I'm very, very appreciative of that. But yeah, so I've had to use the old kerosene heater. I'm running out of kerosene. I don't want to have to keep buying more for another month. Like I'm hoping that I can just last through this week, right? And then we'll finally be in spring officially. We'll be out of full spring and into actual spring here in the area. And yeah, I'm just excited for it to be here. I just feel more awake. I feel a lot happier about everything going on. You know, I'm more excited to do things. So yeah, we're almost there. But it also means storm season. You know, I did that stream the other night. And sure enough, 4 o'clock in the morning, our first tornado siren of the season goes off. My phone actually got it probably a couple minutes before the actual town siren went off, which is a little scary. I feel like the town siren needs to be going off faster than that, but at least my phone alert was going off. I was just sitting here like looking out the windows. I knew that it was headed our way. I knew that in like 10 minutes our little town was going to get absolutely bodied by this storm front coming in. And then yeah, pretty much 4 o'clock on the dot, siren on my phone goes off. You know, I'm getting my parents' lockbox. They were out of town. I'm getting my guitar, which is my lockbox. I'm bringing it all downstairs. And my brother's room is like right there next to the basement stairs. He's like in bed, pokes his head up. I'm like, tornado warning, dude. He rolls over, goes back to sleep. I don't think he remembered it. He slept through the whole thing. It was kind of wild. Like we didn't really get a whole lot of like rain. It was just very weird. It's very brief. It was like 30 minutes of just like a very hardcore wind and rain. And like it genuinely felt like the tornado was headed our way, but I guess it was more rotational in the clouds. It was more of a funnel cloud situation. Radar indicated, you know, sometimes they touch down, sometimes they don't. But it definitely felt wild. And then yeah, after that it was just like like nothing happened. It was just completely calm. Rain stopped. There really wasn't a whole lot else to look at. But for me, I was just that's what I live for, man. Like, yeah, give me those 4 a.m. mornings. I have no problem going to the basement at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, like poking out and poke my head out the window. Like, where is it? Show me them tornadoes. Show me those tornadoes, man. Naturally, I never get to see one, but I got to see some cool lightning, I guess. A power across the street went out briefly. But aside from that, it was pretty chill. But you know, you got to be kind of thankful for that. No one got hurt. There wasn't like a ton of damage or anything like that. Obviously, you know, when you get those warnings, things can be much worse than that. But I get all excited for them. I love the crazy weather. I think a lot of it's also because that weather, it's usually when it starts getting really warm out again, right? Like, it feels really nice out. Like, you can feel the weather like in the air. Here we go. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard the expression like you can smell the rain, but like you definitely can. It's not something people just like made up as some like movie colloquialism, right? Like you can really tell when it's about ready to just absolutely unleash on you. Here we go. And then, yeah, you know, when I'm more awake and excited about those kind of things and amped up on nature, man, that means, you know, more stream content. I'm more excited to stream. I have more ideas to stream. And yeah, I just get super motivated about it. You know, speaking along those lines, I sent out another email to my original model artist. I still have not heard back. It's been a couple of days. We'll see through the weekend, but it's been a solid 2 months and I have not heard a single word from them. Not a one. No updates on the line art. No improved or revised sketches. Like, absolutely nothing. So, you know, I don't know if they just got busy, if they lost my contact info, like what's up. But it is looking more and more like I spent a week's paycheck on someone that just ghosted me. So, yeah. You know, I don't know. We'll see if they respond to the second email. They took a while to respond the first time, but, you know, I'm not super hopeful at this point after 2 months. But, you know, I do kind of got to apologize to everyone on the channel. I was really hoping to get a new model out by May. That is looking more and more like it is not going to happen. Even if they do eventually send the line art, who knows how long it's going to take them to actually do the base colors and then the shading on it. Plus how long it's going to take me to do the rigging on top of that. So it's looking like we're probably not going to have it at the very earliest until Dawn Trail. And that's assuming I don't have to start over from complete scratch, right? So, yeah. And like, it's just disappointing because I really like this artist. They seemed really nice in the emails. Like there were a lot of indicators that like it definitely wasn't someone trying to scam me. Like they knew what they were doing. They clearly had info that that only the Google forms that I'd filled out were had. They did posted quite a bit on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So like they were definitely legit, but I don't know what the deal is. But you know, we'll have to wait through the weekend. But like it's just disappointing. You know, I just wish that like they had just sent me an email being like, hey, this is taking a little bit longer than we expected. Like as long as I know that you're still working on it, like I don't mind it taking a little bit longer. But like if I'm completely ghosted, like that's not professional. Like straight up, like if you're wanting to ask for money for this, like it is not professional. And like, you know, if 3-4 months go by and I still haven't heard back from them, like, yeah, I'm gonna be putting the word out. Like that's flat out. Like I need to make sure that other VTubers and people looking for artwork don't fall into the same scam. Like, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't work with someone that's not professional enough to just send you a quick email, right? But you know, like I said, I'm an eternal optimist. We'll just have to wait and see. It's possible that they're just swamped with commissions. I mean, that's also a possibility too, and I completely understand it. Like, art takes time, and it is very easy to get in over your head. Life happens, that kind of thing. I'm more disappointed about a lack of communication than anything, but you know, if they come around this weekend, they're like, you know, hey, sorry about this. You know, here's the line art that we have so far. Like, hey, that's cool. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that. Let's get this back on track, right? So, you know, I'm not gonna do any naming or shaming, and you know, until I'm pretty certain it's far gone, right? But like, my trials and tribulations with my paycheck have been well documented on the stream. So like, if I'm spending money on something and you ghost me, I'm not going to be very happy about it. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But man, I just really like their sketch, man. I really like their sketches. I liked the design input that they had on it and some of the extra things that they were working on. Like, it just looked really good. So I'm really hoping that they just got caught up with other things in life and just kind of forgot to send an email back. Like, I'm really hoping that this still pulls through, but you know, best case scenario, we're still not going to have this done for some time, and probably not before Dawn Trail. So, you know, that's just the update for now. That's kind of where we're at. You know, I want you guys to kind of know, because I've been hyping up the new model and all of this stuff for some time. But if we do end up having to start over from scratch, you know, we're back at square one, and you know, then I've got to find another artist that's also in my price range after I've already spent a little bit of money. So, you know, it was hard enough to find this artist. I don't know how it's gonna go trying to find another one. But we'll keep soldiering on. Worst comes to worst, I use the free booth model here. Hey, for a little bit longer. You know, at least we're still able to stream and have fun together and play some games. So, you know, that's ultimately what it comes down to. You know, I think the model is important if you're going to be a VTuber, but it's not everything. You know, you got to have the content to back it up, right? So yeah, we'll do what we can. Man, I'm gonna run out of missions to choose from. I think the next couple of rounds, if I have any that give rep, I'm just gonna have to choose the rep option. Like, this is taking a lot longer, like way longer compared to the invasion systems to actually get my rep up. The other option is just sit here for 10 minutes until hopefully the missions reset. Yeah, you look at what we're doing now compared to some of these VIPs to get unlocked a little bit later, like 12 million there, 7 million there. Like, you're essentially at the very least doubling our pay on most of these. And you know, this Orca, once it's ready to go, if I'm loading up every single cabin, like, I'm getting 8 to 11 missions. Now, not every single one of those VIPs is going to be a $30 to $50 million mission, right? Usually you can only load maybe one of those. A lot of times, because they're all coming from one faction, from what I've noticed, and like, you can only do 1 or 2 from those factions at a time. But I mean, you combine that with the regular group passenger missions, and it all adds up really fast. The last time that we did this on stream, we were getting what? Like, between 60 and 70 million a run. Like, that's a lot. Like, that's how much you'll get from like doing really heavy tritium runs to you know, personal fleet carriers out and about that are buying it. And the thing is, with those fleet carriers, it can be pretty rare to find someone actually buying it at that rate. Not to mention the actual distance you'll have to travel on a fully laden cutter to get to those areas, right? So yeah, this is just so much faster for a fair amount of money. We're really booking it. At this point, the evacs are going to pay for my fleet carrier before anything else in this game does. Now, it might be a little different if I had exobiology, but as I've said, I don't have Odyssey, so yeah, I can't do exobio or anything like that. But for us Horizons players, like, yeah, the Thargoid War has been pretty nice. It's been pretty hefty. I've had a good time with it. There we go. We got interdicted on the way here, a hyperdicted. Let's see if it does it twice. Usually on these alert systems, like one, I don't think you can get interdictions when you're just in super cruise, like between planets. I don't think I've gotten interdicted, however it's pronounced. I don't think I've had that happen to me once since I started doing this in an alert system, as opposed to like the actual invasion systems where it's fairly common. And then when it comes to the hyperdictions, I usually only notice it once, either going in or going out. I can't think of too many times I've had it happen both times. We'll have to wait and see. I just hope for the best. Yeah, see? It seems like it's either or. So if you get a hyperdicted on the way in, that's so much easier than doing it on the way out, because they won't generally throw missiles and stuff at you. You might see a swarm pop up if you get too close to one of them. But aside from that, like, they just kind of ignore you if you don't have any guardian stuff on you. So yeah, getting it on the way in is real nice, because that usually means you're not going to get hyperdictions on the way out when you actually have passengers to worry about. And it's not like leaving is all that hard. It's just, it's a little bit more to pay attention to. You know, you gotta make sure that your ECM is deployed so that you can take out those missiles. Yeah, little things like that. It's just a lot of buttons to press, all within a very, very short time span. But aside from that, like, it's not bad. It's not hard, like, whatsoever. But yeah, I'm always happy to take the easy money, right? There we go. All right. So yeah, speaking of, like I was saying, I did officially go ahead and get Horizon Forbidden West. So that will be at some point eventually on the old list. I don't know when. We have to finish Horizon Zero Dawn. God knows how long that's going to take. But it is on the list for the future. Man, we've just got so much. I still haven't finished any of the Yakuza games. I really want to throw those in there at some point, particularly Like a Dragon. I really want to play Like a Dragon on stream. I feel like I would like it quite a bit, maybe even a little bit more than Yakuza 0. So yeah, it's just a lot. We've got a lot of ground to cover. But yeah, I did go ahead and get it. That is on the list. Of course, I was talking to my ASM today too. You know, he's like 200 hours played. He's one of those kind of players that wants to 100% a game if he really likes it. But he's been playing the new Final Fantasy Rebirth, right? And I'm like, man, can't wait to talk to you about this in 2 years when it finally comes out on PC. But he's getting me kind of hyped for it. You know, he's thankfully not one of those people that will spoil things. He's very respectful of that. So like he'll answer questions if I have questions, like, you know, talking about the gold saucer and stuff that, you know, is fairly obviously in the game. If it's FF7, you're gonna have the gold saucer, you're gonna have chocobo racing, that kind of thing. Like, you know, the final bosses and all of that stuff, he's been very good about not spoiling for me. But yeah, I really want to really want to play the remake so much, and it's just so frustrating not having that or FF16 until the PlayStation contract is up. I'm just so ready for them, especially after that collab we did the other night. I just really want to play FF16 now. think that's kind of what brought it up, is talking about Dawn Trail. He's a big FF11 player. And he's playing on like that Horizon private server or whatever, right? And yeah, he was saying like a lot of his guildmates and stuff, his link shell, have already started saying like, hey, we're not going to be available for raids this week because Dawn Trail's coming out. And then that led into me talking about the FF16 collab, because he's played 16. I obviously have not, but he played 16 and enjoyed it enough. So I was telling him about some of the stuff. He's like, yeah, Clive's actually a pretty good protagonist. Like I had a good time with him. I was kind of telling him that I guess the collab happens during like a time skip in the game. Like that's all I know, is that I guess something happens. And like his eyes lit up. He's like, oh, okay. So like I guess it makes more sense to him since he played it. But yeah, that led into the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stuff. I was like asking him about Yuffie and some of that stuff, and yeah, I'm just really hyped for it. I don't know. We can always play that on stream. The only issue, the thing that's held me back from doing the FF7 remake on stream, is that I've already played it. Like that's just it's a game where just, you guys know how it is. You're FF14 players. We're all emotional vampires, right? And the FF7 remake, it's one of those games you need that emotional vampirism. You want those big reactions during the key moments, like the first time you hear the Airbuster theme and you see Aerith actually fully rendered in the game and all of that, right? And unfortunately, you just wouldn't get that from me because I've already beat it, right? So, you know, it's kind of a decision. If you guys want me to play the FF7 remake, the first chapter, I am more than happy to do that. I will gladly play through that again anytime. It's just that's the only reason that I've been holding back on it is because we won't get those big reactions, right? And I feel like that is kind of important when it comes to doing the FF7 remake. So, you know, we'll just we'll make do with what we can. We've got plenty of games in the backlog, and obviously once June 28th hits, we're gonna be like in it, right? The other thing I was telling him is like all the collector's edition stuff seems very FF9 focused, which I am super hyped about as well. So yeah, he thought that was pretty cool. I need to get my pre-order. I keep forgetting that the pre-order for the collector's edition stuff, like you get those already. You don't have to wait for Dawn Trail to come out. So like I want my earring. I really need that earring so I can get some of these other jobs leveled up, right? And yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll do that after this next paycheck. I get paid tomorrow, so it's one of those things that it's like, yeah, you know I'm going to be getting it. It's like, why wait, right? It's a 100% certainty that I am buying Dawn Trail. It's just a matter of how and when. I mean, if you guys want to help out with that, I'd never say no. But I'm more concerned about the 1,500 subs right now than I am super chats. Much as I appreciate them, I'm more interested in just trying to grow the channel than anything like that. But I do look to you guys for direction on what you want to see me play and all of that. So, you know, that's really what I need is some direction on that, those kind of things. But we'll get it soon. We'll get it soon enough. And I mentioned yesterday that with Dawn Trail coming out soon, you know, we'll be doing some more FF14 content, more than normal. I want to make sure that we're getting back into that and kind of reminding people like, hey, yeah, we're still in this, right? And the rep is it's kind of slim. Not a whole lot of just really nice payouts. Here we go. That's fine. We'll make do. I'm not going to worry about atypicals. Here we go. Yep. And it's not like the rep is giving me like no cash. I'm still getting a fair chunk of change, but the difference between 4 million and 400,000 is still, it's significant, right? But I think that did, yeah, that did get us some more levels. I think we should start getting some access to some of the VIP missions at this point. We'll go up and do one more run and double check. Like I said, this would be kind of a short stream. I don't want to spend too much time playing this since it is mostly a test stream. And the main reason for that is because I need to be able to go back and watch the VOD and kind of keep an eye out for anything. Wow, at this point, I don't know if the AXI team's going to be able to get it done. Like, I figured Europe is probably waking up. How you guys doing over there? Is everyone okay? Is everyone awake? It'll change quite a bit for peak time, but if we wanted to get this down this week, like, it's going to be... And that's going to be a tough fight. I know Tyrannus went down with 7 hearts, or 7 controlled systems. Yeah, this could be kind of tricky. We'll just have to wait and see. Doing my part to make sure that not every system goes into control, right? But yeah, with the Dawn Trail Collector's Edition, I just really need the earring. I was just sitting here before the stream yesterday, before I went live. You know, I'm always hanging out in the game, logging into the characters. You know, all of that good stuff to make sure everything's up and running. Hide the alts, all of that good stuff. And yeah, I was just looking at my jobs and I was like, man, I want my Amaro mount already. It's been so long of working on that thing and not really doing as much as I should have on it. So yeah, like I know that I can get the Amaro mount a little bit faster already. Like the current earring that I have goes up to 80, so that's enough for it. But I know we're gonna have to do this all over again for whatever the Dawn Trail all job at 100 item is. So yeah, might as well get in on it, do what I can, heck away at it little by little. All right, but you know, we'll take it one day at a time. It's not like we've got a lack of things to do. There we go. Yeah, speaking of the space stuff, you know, we're all getting ready here in our area. Like we are right at peak totality prime time in our area. Like we're getting like 4.5 minutes or something in our area. And it's supposed to be 50% cloud cover, at the very least, at that time. Hey, welcome to the Midwest. Yeah. Happy eclipse, everybody. I just really hope that it is clear during totality. We are starting to get a lot of people from out of town coming in. Like, all of the hotels are starting to get booked. And for us, like, we're not a big town. Like, if you combine my little hometown plus the slightly bigger hometown that we're kind of a suburb of, we're kind of a twin city of, right? Like it's like 50,000 total. Maybe 60. Like that's the population that you're talking about. So having a lot of people come from out of town, it's kind of a big deal, right? So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, but thankfully I do have that day off. Obviously I am not going to be streaming in the middle of the day when the eclipse is going on. But we've got our glasses. We started selling a lot of our glasses at work too, so yeah, I got them verified, tested, all of that good stuff. So we're good to go. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just to, you know, make sure and read up on the safety tips and all of that. If you're, you know, I know in the Northeast, I think you guys missed out on the last one. I think the last one went from the Northwest down to Florida or so. So this one, you guys up in the Northeast, you know, Niagara Falls, New York, all of that, you know, make sure and read the safety precautions on the glasses. Make sure the glasses work. Best way to tell, look at something really bright with the glasses on. You should not be able to see anything. Just straight up, you should not see anything but black. Or, you know, silver if it's got the silver lining on it sometimes, right? If it's like exceptionally bright, you might see a very faint glowing orb. But if you see anything other than that, they're not valid. Like, do not, I swear to God, do not look at the sun with those things on. If you can see anything through those glasses when you're looking around your room or just walking outside, like, they're not normal sunglasses. You should not be able to see anything. I know the American Astrological Society, the AAS, has a website available that has a list of approved manufacturers. So you can always give that a look and double check it with your own glasses. Legitimate glasses should have all of that info on the inside. Like, that should be listed on the inside little earpiece, like one of the frames, right? And it's usually a big wall of text too. It'll have the manufacturer, it'll have the ISO data, all of that. But again, you know, it's the internet nowadays. People can make knockoffs and print anything they want on them, so make sure and test them before you go out. Once totality hits, like once it is actual like go time, you can take the glasses off and look at the sun. Like during totality, that's the coolest part of totality, is it's like it's not any brighter than moonlight. You can take the glasses off. That's perfectly okay. But anytime before totality or anytime after totality, as the moon is moving across the sun, that's when you need those glasses on. And to be completely honest, as someone that experienced the last eclipse, like, you're not going to really be looking at the sun the entire time anyways. There's really no reason to. It's very slow. Like, people forget it's the moon. Like, the moon in the sky. It's fast relative to, like, other space things and relative to our movement on the ground, but overall, it still takes time to cross the sun. So, you know, you look at it for a few seconds, and then, you know, lay down on the ground, talk with your friends, let a little bit more time go by, and then look at it again for a few more seconds. Like, there's really not a whole lot to look at as it's actually moving across. And same thing for your same thing for like your cameras on your phones and all of that. Don't try taking pictures when it's actually moving across the sky. And to be completely honest, your camera on your phone is probably not going to be great for it. Most cameras on most phones are not telephoto lenses, they're wide angle lenses, so it just makes everything look farther away than it actually is. It's very, very hard to get a good shot of the eclipse with a camera phone unless you want to use the digital zoom and just make everything super grainy. So yeah, now same thing again, you can use it during totality and it'll be fine, but yeah. If you have a big camera, like an actual DSLR or mirrorless camera, you can buy special filters to go in front of the lens, and they're actual like eclipse filters. You need to be getting on it. You got like 2 days, but you can take photos with those on it. They're essentially eclipse glasses for your cameras. But I don't, you know, most of that kind of stuff you'd have to order. I can't think of, even around here, I don't think I've seen any just like lenses for sale, like lens filters for sale. Usually that kind of thing you'd have to special order from like Celestron or something like that, right? But yeah, I figured now is as good of a time as any to kind of go over the safety precautions and stuff, since, you know, we're getting some pretty big cities that are getting involved with it. This is the last eclipse pretty much in our lifetimes here in North America. You'll be able to go to other countries if you want and check them out, but yeah, this is really about it. So yeah, it's always good to kind of go over the safety things and just kind of be aware, be cautious out there. And I figure it's appropriate since we're out here playing Elite Dangerous in space, right? But yeah, you know, hopefully it won't be super rainy. It's supposed to rain that afternoon, but like not till late. I think totality around here is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, It's like right on that borderline where it could be kind of clear or it could not be. I haven't taken a look at the latest readout. Last time I looked was like the 10-day forecast, which is not always the most accurate. But I know that LA just had that big storm, and basically everything they get, we get 2 weeks later. So we just kind of gotta roll with it, right? Oh, good. The weather.com top story, ominous signs, and that's it. There's no subheading, just a picture of a hurricane. So there's that to look forward to. So it looks like they have updated the forecast on the 8th to generally sunny despite a few afternoon clouds, which honestly are not bad, because afternoon clouds for us in this area are like the big fluffy ones. They're just kind of chill. They just kind of hang out, right? As long as we don't get a big one that's covering the sun at exactly the wrong time, which is more than likely to happen. But usually they're just kind of chill. All right, dude. I feel like we were running out of missions last time, so let's take a look here. Getting kind of low. So I can fit 88 passengers. Last time I looked, after all of Legong's were done, I had transported over 2,000 passengers. Now, some of that included a few passenger missions in like Colonia and stuff, but it really wasn't all that many. So yeah, for the most part, I've done about 2,000 passengers total. Across all of the Titan stuff so far, which is kind of wild to think about. I did not realize I'd been moving that fast. There you go. It's just, man, what do I need to do for these guys? Friendly, friendly, friendly. And allied. Some of them I have to get allied. Yeah, allied's where the big payouts come in. See if we got any chunky boys here, or if it's still the 12 millions. Yeah. I know like it's probably going to be lower than like actual invasion systems. Like invasion systems is pretty roleplay like the station's on fire and people are willing to pay whatever they need to get out, right? There we go. All right. Any others? Okay. Well, you know, I'm doing what I can. Sometimes it'll refresh in the middle of picking them up. But I feel like it's been a couple of runs since I've like filled up all of my cabins. I just am moving too fast, and I don't have the rep to fill them up with the big boys from the VIPs. Usually it's easy for me to get a full rack of missions, or at least full passenger cabins, just from the pure circumstance of mixing the VIPs. VIPs take up an entire cabin on their own. So just kind of be aware of that. Like you can't mix and match. The normal guys, the scrubs down in the lower decks, you could squeeze them all into passenger cabins with each other. You can mix and match missions then. But VIPs require a cabin all on their own. So if you take one of those high-end missions, that's an entire cabin that you got to kind of X out. But a lot of the high-end paying ones, like they already have 8 to 12 passengers that they want to bring with them anyways, so it kind of evens out. You probably needed to fill up that cabin to begin with. But yeah, you can't squeeze in those extra 4 guys once they're loaded in. All right. But the payouts make it worth it. Like more than worth it for the most part. And the other thing is that these passenger missions, especially the evacs, they count as trade. So if you're trying to rank up your trade to elite, yeah, do some of these, because yeah, they all count as trade income. I don't know why. Seems kind of odd that I'm trading in passengers, but that's what it counts as for the sake of your badges. Yeah, that was a pretty significant chunk of me getting to elite was Legong, so yeah. But you know, I guess it kind of makes sense because fighting Thargoids themselves, like if you fight an Orthus, that's like a high-ranked elite NPC in terms of like how the combat ranking up works, right? Like the way it works is it doesn't do it based on money. Instead, you get points based on how relative their rank is compared to yours. So if you're like master fighting against a master NPC, you get 1 point. If you're a master fighting an elite NPC, you get like 2.5 points or something like that. So it's all point based. And then vice versa, you know, if you're an elite fighting a master, you get fewer points. You get like 0.25 points or something, right? But the Thargoids are like always elite, from what I understand. I don't know if they've changed that since all of this info came out. Yeah, if you're trying to rank up your combat stuff, AX Combat is like a really good way to do that because everything counts as an elite in terms of your points. So it doesn't matter what rank you are, you're always getting the max amount of points for that rank, right? Because you're always fighting an elite. Just nice. Maybe I should get in on that because the combat grind is real. Like when people are saying like combat is by far the hardest one to rank up to elite, they are not joking. I mean, I have done a lot of combat. You know, all of those spec ops that I keep saying that I can't stream. I mean, what do you think those are? They're like all CZs and usually medium or high CZs. That or I pound out like 3 or 4 low CZs all at once, right? They go so fast. Now that I've got some upgraded multi-cannons, I just chew through the lows. So yeah, I mean, I have done a lot of combat. For having the amount of playtime that I do, like I've only got, what, 5 weeks of playtime? If that? What am I at? 3 weeks, 4 days, 11 hours. That's how much playtime I actually have, which is really not a lot. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good. But for how much combat I've done in that amount of time, I have barely moved that bar for the combat rank. So yeah, elite combat is a ways off. Triple elite will be a ways off. You know, we'll just I do a little bit here and there when I can. I don't think we have any wars for our BGS stuff or our squadron going on right now, so it's just kind of like running trade missions and stuff to boost influence, and that's really about it. I'll go out and bounty hunt in my home system, just, yeah, do some high res asteroid sites. I can do Haz-Res pretty easily, but the few times I've tried hopping into Haz-Res, I can't get the NPCs to spawn. I don't know if I just have bad luck or what, but like I'll go in, I'll have a ship scan me, right? You know, I'll kill a couple of them, and then I can't get any more to appear to come and scan me. Like I need to start bringing a cargo rack along, but the problem with the cargo rack is if I start putting in damaged escape pods, then I can't stop them from spawning. Like it's just 50 things attacking me all at once, which my Corvette is pretty well engineered. It's getting pretty close to done, but I can't handle, you know, 5 deadly / elite NPCs attacking me at once. Like I just can't. So it's kind of a trade-off. It's like, do I want to do Haz-Res and do it all on my own without worrying about a whole lot of stuff? Or do I just want to go to a high-res, possibly hit a cop, which who's really going to complain about that? And then, you know, I have a steady stream of NPCs coming to scan me. So, you know, I just find that high-res, in terms of ease of access to it all, yeah, the security forces are a little bit of a pain. Haz-Res, I think, has a little bit higher level NPCs. Like, you have more elites popping up. You have more, like, anacondas and that kind of thing showing up. But, in terms of just sheer volume of NPCs, I've found high-res, at least in my system, is a little bit easier. I don't know about other systems, but my home system of Adini is just too good. Like, it has everything that I would want. I love my home system. I've had a few of my squad mates like, yeah, come on down to our space. Like, come on down to frog space, right? Sit on our carriers, or we're more than welcome. And like, I always appreciate the offer, and it definitely would be more convenient for some of the trade routes, because like Adeni's kind of out there. It's on one end of the bubble. It's actually outside the bubble a little bit. But there's just too much good stuff here. Like, I've got a little bit of everything that I need in Adeni, so it's gonna stay my home for now. I might move a couple of ships a little bit closer. Things that I'm doing in that space. Yeah, move the Ozark down there for combat, or Ashling's Promise for trade. You know, my cutter, those kind of things. But it's not a super high priority. I like Adeni too much. It's got plenty of emissions data. Like, it's got some good high grade emissions and encoded emissions for some of those materials. Like I said, every planet is a ringed planet. So lots of res sites and lots of, you know, chill mining sites too. It's mostly rocky, but there is one planet out there that has icy rings, so it's got a good mix, right? Like, I want for nothing. It even has a material broker. It's encoded, but that's fine. Like, I'll need encoded data at some point, so sure, why not? But yeah, I like it. The only thing that I don't like is it is a little bit further from the distance, like further distance-wise from the center of the bubble, so, you know, getting to some of those popular trade routes, like my cutter has to make 6 or 7 jumps sometimes. Just a bit of a pain. Got a fuel scoop, but, you know, when I'm in the bubble, it's almost completely the opposite from what I'm like out in the black. You guys have seen me out in the black. I don't mind doing 300 or 400 jumps in a row out there. But when I'm in the bubble, I just want to get to my destination as fast as possible and start making money, right? Like, I got things to do. All right. So I had 10. That was more missions than I thought I had. That's fine. That's cool. I'll take it. I feel like I'm doing okay on most of my materials at this point, so at 1.5 million, that's fine. I'll take some biotech conductors. I don't have a whole lot of those. I'll take the rep on that one. Yeah, they leveled them up to friendly. Perfect. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take as much rep as I can, I think. I'm just not seeing a whole lot of other options to actually get up there to some of those high-end emissions, right? Like, at this point, by the time I'm even unlocking those, this is going to be in the clear. Like, this system is going to be safe again, right? There we go. Hey, there we go. Helped. Wow, I only just now got friendly with the Inara Nexus. That's kind of surprising. Yeah, that's actually very surprising because they're like the main faction there. All right, so I think that's gonna be it for right now. Like I said, this was just kind of a test stream, so you know, I got to go back. I got to watch the VODs. We'll be back tomorrow with some more. It'll probably be FF8. But depending on how Oya goes, as the EU crowd gets in there, if they start putting in some work, you know, we might hop back in here and do this and actually do some fighting Oya in my little courier. But yeah, hopefully, you know, the stream looked good. I'm excited to finally have 1 gig internet, so I'm hoping that the new upload is going to make it just much cleaner. It's not like we had a lot of issues. I think it looked pretty good for the most part, but every little bit's going to count and make it just look a little more professional, right? But thanks a ton, everybody, for coming to this little test stream. It's kind of an impromptu guerrilla stream, but you know, we got quite a bit of money. Where did we end up at? Yeah, so we made about 250 million off of 3 runs. It looks like somewhere around there. Maybe it was 4 runs. I don't know. That's what the VOD's for. That's why I got to go back and watch it. But yeah, I've got to go out, look at the VOD, maybe tweak a few settings to make sure this is up and running, since we've literally had this for less than 12 hours now. Yeah, that being said, you know, like and subscribe, help us get to that 1,500 subs, and check out some of the other content on the channel. We've got a lot to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. So, sure enough. But thanks a ton, everybody. Have a good start to your weekend. Don't work too hard tomorrow. Hopefully, you know, you'll luck out and get to leave a little bit early, avoid all of that traffic. But we'll be back tomorrow, probably in the afternoon, doing a little bit of probably FF8 and go from there. Take care, everybody, and bye-bye.